The pandemic has left many of us scarred. And when trauma and grief are too embedded and daunting to talk about, sometimes play can be a solution. Dana Trottier, Britton Williams, and Alexis Powell are all trained therapists with experience in theater.
Drama therapy is the intentional use of theater for change or growth, depending on the goals that somebody wants to work on. And really leaning into what does it mean to use that aspect of expression to be able to tap into perhaps your own inner strengths and resilience.
It's in itself a rehearsal. So we're playing together, trying out new ways of being, trying out new ways of embodying even.
Unlike traditional therapists who use talk as the basis for their approach, drama therapists lean on exercises such as role-playing storytelling, acting, and improv to help their clients confront challenges and process feelings.
It's shifting people's relationship and response to the things that they're experiencing. So I think that's one big thing that drama therapy can do, as opposed to me just asking someone, well, how do you feel and where is that grief, living? How is it showing up for you? Those are important questions and can be absolutely helpful, but sometimes we need to literally move with it and through it, because we're all on some level doing one big improv in life. Drama therapy is just saying, let's intentionally rehearse this. Let's intentionally put this up on its feet and give it a look.
The approach can take many forms and works for people of all ages and abilities, such as a child without an emotional vocabulary or an adult with a lifetime of experiences.
We've done groups with folks that, may not, whether it's by choice or otherwise, may not speak one word, but we can move through the space. How are we feeling today? We don't have to put word to that. We can put movement to that.
When we think about adults who are aging and experiencing Alzheimer's or dementia, the drama therapy is wonderful for them as well. I just might be the one bringing the story to them, right? So that could be, and here we are, sitting together, right? And we're having this conversation, or tell me about a moment when, right? Or we can just sit in proximal relationship to each other.
Like all therapists, Dana, Britton, and Alexis see mental health as a priority right now. We might be 3 years into COVID, but the adjustment to treating the virus as endemic rather than a pandemic has left people struggling with anxiety and depression.
Grief is so long and so prolonged and reactivates as soon as you encounter anything even closely familiar to it. So we've just been activated and reactivated in our grief and not really having an appropriate place to take it, especially collectively, over this last few years. And it's social grief, it's medical grief, it's relational grief. The ways our relationships have changed inside of this time, the ways our work has changed, our places of power. So there's so much space needed still, I think.
Frontline healthcare workers are especially vulnerable. Doctors and nurses, once hailed as heroes for risking their lives to care for the sick, later found themselves scapegoated when vaccine mandates went into effect, all as they managed waves of new infections and burnout.
I worked in a hospital during the entirety, and still do, of this pandemic. And you brought up this healthcare hero role, which really was a role that was placed onto us, that it wasn't necessarily a role we asked for. I would say it created a bit of a burden, because I am also human and I have to go home and grapple with my own family challenges. And answering these questions of am I gonna walk COVID into my home? Is it going to impact my family in that way?
It became clear I had to see drama therapy in action to better understand how it works. So I shared my story, which is pretty familiar to any working parent. Frazzled mom adjusting to some big life changes.
My son graduated high school. I changed jobs. What next?
And the scene begins.
Don't go! Don't go! Don't go! Don't go! Don't go! Don't go! Don't go again! Don't go further! Don't go like that!
Oh gosh!
Don't go!
Oh, but I've got to
Don't go!
Congratulations!
I know that I've got to be okay.
So I can't say this is how I appear every day, though my family might disagree, but seeing it play out in front of me did give me some perspective.
It was a little frightening to see Britton act like me, which is what is totally in my head most days. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Wait, this has to happen, that has to happen, and just being pulled in every direction.
Yes.
Overall, I found the experience cathartic. It gave me some sense of closure. In this case, accepting the discomfort and moving forward regardless.
And now you're healed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All you needed was one session. I know. So that being said, I'll take the $1,000. Right?
It's 10 sessions.